friends, welcome to our midweek moment. Pastor Nicole here. So glad you clicked on. This week we continued on in our sermon series, Caved In, Finding Light When Life is Dark. And we talked about Elijah and the cave of depression. This is a tough topic, right? And one that I think has to be held with really gentle care, because it's really easy for us to kind of get into that place of saying, well, just do this, this, and this, and then you won't have depression anymore. And that's just not how depression works. And so on Sunday, I offered a few suggestions of things that you can try when you are feeling depressed or when you've been diagnosed with depression. It's not going to be a cure-all. It's not going to be like well, do this, and then if you do this, and then if you do this, it's all going to be good. That's just not how it works. Really just some suggestions of things that hopefully will work if you are having a difficult time. Now, one of the things I didn't get to talk about in the sermon, but I think is so important, is to think about community. When you are going through a hard time in your life, having a community to be with you, to surround you, to walk with you is so important, and it can make all the difference in your life. So I want to kind of talk about this from two different angles. One being how to think about this if you are a person who is going through a hard time, if you have depression, or if you're going through an episode of depression. And then the other side, we're going to talk about how do I come alongside somebody if I know someone who is struggling with depression. Okay, so let's start with a person who is depressed. When you are experiencing depression, a lot of times the inclination is to isolate, right? To be by yourself, to not get out of bed, to want to be alone. And while there is a time and place for us to need that space and to be alone, sometimes prolonged isolation can actually worsen depression symptoms, right? So one of the things that we talked about on Sunday was creating rhythms in your life, and that can kind of help move you out of depression. So the rhythm of being in community is an important thing to work toward when you're experiencing depression, to have your people, to reach out to your people, to get together with your people, to be reminded that you're not alone, right? That's kind of what happened to Elijah in the story. He tried to be alone. He left his assistant in the town and he went out into the wilderness by himself, and he wanted to be alone, but he wasn't, right? The angel met him there. God met him there. And so he was reminded that, oh yeah, I can't really ever be alone because God's always with me. Sometimes we need physical people in our life to remind us that we're not alone, though. So if you are going through a hard time, reaching out to trusted people in your life, forcing yourself, even if you have to force yourself to get together with them, to just be reminded, right, I'm not alone. There are people in this world that love and care about me and want to be around me. That's so important. Now, if we are looking at it from the other angle of we know someone in our life who is going through depression, being there for them is so important. So knowing that they're going to want to tend to isolate and be by themselves means that you kind of have to work harder, right? Because sometimes when we text somebody, call somebody, they don't want to hang out, or they just don't respond, and they don't respond, and they don't respond. We're like, okay, well, I guess, they don't want to be in a relationship with me anymore. They don't want to be my friend anymore, whatever. And then we can just kind of drop that. But when you're dealing with somebody who's going through depression, you continually have to show up because they may not have the energy to show up for you. So continuing to remind them, hey, just thinking about you today. Hey, I love you. Hey, can I bring you a meal? Hey, can we just sit together for a while? Let's watch a movie together. Let's, get a pizza, whatever. Continuing to show up. Even if they don't take you up on it, at least they know somebody is reaching out. Somebody loves them. Somebody cares for them. Somebody is a part of their community. So as we kind of think more about this topic of depression, Community is such a gift to people who are experiencing hard times. I mean, we've all been through difficult days before, and it feels so good when somebody just sends you a text or a card or just lets them know, hey, I'm thinking about you. I'm sorry about what this situation that happened in your life. Is there anything I can do, right? It feels good to have somebody there. That's the beauty of community, is being able to rally around someone when they're going through a tough time. It's so important for people who experience depression to know that they are a valued part of the community, even if they don't have the energy or the motivation to participate in the community like they might normally. So just a reminder, if you're going through a hard time, find your people, rely on your people. That's what they're there for. They want to be there for you. If you are on the other side and you know somebody who's going through a hard time, keep showing up. That is so important. And, you know, I've said this before many times, we are created to be in community. What does God tell Adam? It is not good for people to be alone. We need people in our lives. That is just how we are created. It's an important part of being a human, is having connections to other humans. So think about that this week as you go along. If you know somebody in your life who's having a hard time, reach out to them this week. Just let them know that you're thinking about them, praying for them. Maybe offer to bring a meal or to stop by just to check in. Or if you're on the other side and you're just having a hard time and you're not sure what to do, maybe just send a text to a friend. Let them know that you're having a hard time and you could use their prayers. So just a couple of thoughts today. I hope you'll join us this weekend. We're going to continue on in our sermon series. We're going to talk about the cave of temptation, and we're going to look at a story from the life of Jesus. So you're not going to want to miss that. Remember, one combined service at 10 a.m. if you're worshiping in person. Otherwise, we will see you online. Have a great rest of your week. Take care of one another. Bye.